Hello, thanks for joining Aso Briefing today. I am Haris Idi Siraju, our top stories. President Bola Tinubu postpones G20 trip to South Africa. Speaker Abbas supports bill for free medical services. FCT Minister attacks South-South Development Commission Board on loyalty and service. And in business, Central Bank of Nigeria declares Zultan Microfinance Bank illegal. You are watching Aso Briefing. Watch us live on DSTV channel 392. StarTimes TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. Also on the UHF band on channel 38. We now go ahead with details of all our stories. We now start with the presidency, where President Bola Tinubu has postponed his scheduled trips to Johannesburg in South Africa and Rwanda, Angola. This is coming as he awaits further security briefings on the kidnapped Kebbi schoolgirls and the attack on Christ Apostolic Church worshippers in Eruku, Kwara State. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, on Wednesday revealed that in response to the request by government of Kwara State, President Tinubu has ordered the deployment of more security personnel to Eruku and the entire Ekiti local government area. He also directed the police to go after the bandits who attacked worshippers. The President was scheduled to leave Abuja on Thursday to attend the 20th G20 Summit of Leaders in South Africa and thereafter proceed to Rwanda to attend the 7th AU-EU Summit. However, according to Onanuga, the President will now await reports from Vice President Kashim Shettima, who has been directed by the President to visit Kebbi on his behalf. The statement also disclosed that the President reiterated his directive to the security agencies to do everything possible to rescue the schoolgirls abducted by the bandits in Kebbi State and bring them back home safe. And now, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Abbas Tajuddin, has expressed support for a bill seeking to provide free medical services in government facilities, some tax exemption and stipends for senior citizens across the country. The Speaker announced his support while delivering a keynote address at a public hearing on the bill to provide certain rights for older persons to ensure health and economic relief and protection for their social and civil rights, and for related matters, organized by the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development at the National Assembly. He noted that many of these social benefits were previously covered by traditional family support systems, underscoring resolve of the House to provide a formal legal structure that will protect the aged from abuse. In her remarks, Chairman of the Committee, Ms. Kafilat Ogbara, explained that the provisions of the bill reflect on the collective responsibility to ensure that the older population receives the dignity, respect, and support they deserve, which, according to her, is a way of giving back to the society. In his presentation, National Coordinator CEO of National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA, Badamasi Lawal, who was represented by Dr. Nsikak Okun, advised that the bill be harmonized with the National Senior Citizens Center Act 2018 for ease of operationality in supporting older persons in Nigeria. On her part, Barrister Martins Ikagu, who spoke on behalf of the National Pension Commission, NPC, described the proposed legislation as a positive development which will further strengthen and expand the legal framework on social security in Nigeria. Still from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives Committee on Mineral Exploitation, Security and Anti-Money Laundering has issued a strict directive to the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Dele Alake, and the DG of the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office to appear for questioning. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Sani Agidi Abdurrahim, who gave the directive at the resumed meeting of the committee on Wednesday, said, in spite of the friendly approach to some MDAs, particularly the two government organizations that are central to this exercise, Ministry of Solid Minerals and the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office, refused to receive the committee. He informed that the committee will, as part of its work plan, pay walking visits to all MDAs covered by its mandate, physically inspect all mineral exploitation centers, invite a number of selected MDAs, and put its findings to report back to the House.
We are committed to this mandate. We are very ready to discharge our duty patriotically. As a representative of the people, we are very much aware that mineral resources in these countries is very, very, very vital to the development of this country.
Still from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has assured the protesting retired police officers that all their concerns and agitations are being duly attended to. Chairman House Committee on Police Affairs, Mr. Maki Abubakar Yeleman, and Chairman Committee on Police Pension, Mr. Hussein Jallu, gave the assurance while briefing members of the press corps on efforts of the legislature so far in addressing challenges for which the retired police officers have occupied the entrance of the National Assembly for weeks in protest. The lawmakers urged protesting retired officers to trust the legislative intervention and retire home from the protest, disclosing that a bill on the subject is ready and will be transmitted to the president next week for assent.
And those people that you see, our parents, gallant police officers, we are always interacting with them, both myself and my colleague, Honorable Jallo, who chair Committee on Pension. So all the prayers, we look into the bill, we amend it, it pass first reading, second reading, third reading. We engage all the stakeholders on their prayers, and the outcome is fruitful. But God willing, I'm assuring you by next week, this bill is going to go to the presidency for assenting. And we draw your attention, the media, help us engage those veteran police officers who are outside for almost decades of weeks here. So please talk to them, explain to them. We have passed their demand, and Senate 2 are ready to send it to President for assenting.
This is the bill that was considered by the House, HB 979, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Post Pension Board, charged with the responsibility of administering the pension scheme for the personnel of the force, and exempt the force from the application of the contributory pension scheme under the Pension Reform Act 2014 and for other related matters. This has been passed and transmitted to the Senate. Now it is being waited concurrent by the Senate, then to be sent to the President for his assent. Those protesting at the gate knows everything we have done. Me and my colleague and by extension the House of Representatives, the Speaker and other principal officers. They are not protesting against the House of Press, but National Assembly is one institution. And I believe since the House of Press has done it, there is no need for them even to continue being at the gate agitating, because certainly it will be done by the House of Press. My plea for them is to leave where they are, with the process they are doing now, and go back to their homes, because inshallah this will be a thing of the past. Yeah.
Our National Assembly correspondent Rosemary Kukutega reports that retired police officers have continued to occupy the National Assembly entrance since the last 6 weeks, protesting against the alleged non-remittance of their contributory pension and gratuity. Now moving to the nation's capital, where the Minister of the FCT, Barrister Izemu Wesamuki, has charged the board of the South-South Development Commission to demonstrate loyalty, discipline, and genuine commitment to the development of the region. He gave the charge when he received the Commission's chairman, Chibudum Nwuche, and members of the board on a courtesy visit to his office in Abuja. The report.
On a visit to the Federal Capital Territory Administration, members of the South-South Development Commission were reminded that public office demands responsibility, integrity, and focus. FCT Minister Barrister Ezewonye Somwike told the delegation that the success of the new commission will depend on the commitment of its leadership and their willingness to carry out the President's mandate without fear or favor. He cautioned against political distractions, misuse of public resources, and internal divisions that have affected past regional bodies.
But one thing that is paramount is your humble self. Are you willing to work for the development of your region? Are you willing to make sure that the vision and mission of Mr. President have been achieved? Some of us believe that having given me an appointment is an opportunity for me to tell my people I have arrived. Some of us are more committed to do that work. So, you ask yourself, of everybody, the population in the South-South, how do you merit this appointment? Therefore, the only way you can justify and to make Mr. President happy is that you work tirelessly to achieve the renewed hope agenda in your own region.
Barrister Wike also urged the board to maintain unity, resist external pressures for contracts, and ensure that public funds are used strictly for development purposes. He warns that political interference and financial misconduct could derail the Commission's objectives and erode public trust. Speaking earlier, Chairman of the South-South Development Commission, Chibudum Nwuche, thanked the minister for the reception and assured him of the board's readiness to partner with the FCT administration and other federal agencies in delivering on its mandate.
We know that contractors who work for you are mobilized and to different projects, and it's done on time, within 1 to 2 years. That is the model that we aspire to emulate. We seek your indulgence to allow us to liaise with you constantly so that America can understand that leadership appointments are a trust and that you must justify people's confidence. The confidence of our leaders like yourselves who nominated us and others, so that Nigerians can see that they can make a difference in their lives and help the president.
The South-South Development Commission, recently established by the federal government, is expected to spearhead infrastructure development, economic empowerment, and social stability across the region. Usman Khatun Umar, Aso Television News.
Still from the nation's capital, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Wesomwiki, has inspected the ongoing construction of the judges' quarters and the new Court of Appeal complex in Abuja, expressing satisfaction with the quality of work, but concern over the contractor's ability to meet the December deadline. Speaking to newsmen shortly after the tour, the minister emphasized that adequate infrastructure and welfare for judicial officers remain essential for an efficient justice system.
Initially, the contractors agreed to complete this project by September 2 months ago, and they wrote to us to extend it to December. Of course, they had 1 or 2 setbacks. But having come to see the place by myself now, I don't think it will be possible even the December they are talking about. Yes, the work is going on very well, but you know, finishing requires a lot of time. So I would say that I don't believe December that they will handle. I really don't think so. Probably it may hand over by January, but that is not what we expected at all. But about the quality of job being done, I think in the 2 areas we went to, we are quite satisfied with the work. But let's continue to hope. You can't talk about confidence of judiciary without talking about investment in infrastructure, without talking about judicial welfare, because these are things that make them have confidence in doing their job. And so one of the key things for Mr. President is not only to support them, but also make them have confidence in carrying out their assignment. And so for Mr. President, if you don't have the confidence in the judiciary, then you may not be sure, because they, of course, sustain our democracy.
Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has signed a national license agreement with the International Road Assessment Program, formally launching Nigeria RAP, a major step towards improving road safety nationwide. The agreement, presented President Bola Tinubu at the International Road Crash Victims Africa Conference in Abuja, will allow FRSC to apply global road safety assessment tools and star rating standards to Nigerian roads. FRSC says the partnership will help Nigeria meet its goal of reducing road fatalities by 50% by the year 2030. And with UN Global Road Safety targets, the IRAP leadership welcomed Nigeria as the 4th African country to join the program, while President Tinubu commended both organizations for advancing road safety as part of the national development agenda. Now, when Aso Briefing returns, more stories on business and more. Please stay with us.
We were warned about this marriage because we did not listen A young maiden is dead.
Nana, come here. Hi. Why do you speak so freely with a stranger from Ajan?
We were just talking about offering Ojigijag a seat on the council.
The gods be praised. Legodo Zelko Sisi, he has 2 wives. So why are you making it look like it is a big deal?
You are watching Aso Briefing. Watch us live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. We are also on UHF band channel 38. And the news continues. The chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, Mr. Christopher Zakame Kalungu, has issued a strong statement condemning the recent demolition of properties in the Kuchibedna community, Kafue district of the Federal Capital Territory. A statement signed by his Senior Special Assistant of Media and Public Affairs, Mr. Kingsley Madaki, noted that the chairman is deeply concerned about the humanitarian crisis created by the demolition, which has rendered several families homeless. He therefore calls for urgent intervention by the highest authorities in the FCT and the federal government.
I don't even know what to do. They're going back to court. So I'm calling, as I said earlier, my honorable minister needs to do something fast. So this thing cannot be happening where we have our president here close to us and they'll be doing this injustice to the indigenous people of FCT. We will not take that. We will not take it.
While acknowledging the importance of rule of law and judicial pronouncement on land ownership, Chairman Kalungu emphasized that enforcement actions must be executed with a human face. He stressed the need for due process, resettlement plans, and adequate compensation, particularly for indigenous communities affected by such operations. Kalungu insisted that the FCTA must initiate a holistic review of all land allocations within indigenous communities to prevent further conflicts and protect the rights of original inhabitants from continuous jeopardy. Now, the immediate past chairman of Gwagwalada Area Council, Haji Mustafa Adamu Danzi, has assured retired teachers and former council staff of improved welfare if the PDP chairmanship candidate, Comrade Kasim Mohammed Ikwa, emerges victorious in the forthcoming 2026 FCT Area Council elections. Danzi gave the assurance while addressing members of the Association of Retired LEA and Area Council staff pensioners during a PDP campaign stop at Pilot Primary School, Gwagwalada. The report.
The former Gwagwalada Area Council Chairman, Alhaji Mustafa Adamu Danze, said he is accompanying the PDP candidate out of the deep respect he has for teachers. He reminded the gathering that teachers remain the backbone of every society and deserve all necessary support.
When I have retired teachers are having their own organization, I needed to come and talk to them. And I needed to tell them what happened when I was in the office. And I need to give them informed that the person as a candidate of Gwagwalada Area Council PDP has interest, is also a retiree, and their interest, their image will be more protected with our candidate than any other candidate.
Comrade Kasim Mohammed Ikwa, the PDP chairmanship candidate for Gwagwalada Area Council, said as a former council staff and professional teacher, he fully understands the challenges faced by retirees. He noted that attending their meeting was important to notify them of his ambition as one of their own and to assure them of better welfare when elected.
Their issue, I'm conversant with it. They are voting me. They are going to be at the safe hand because I have every knowledge over their challenges, and for these challenges to be solved, it needs an experienced person and somebody that knows the root of the issue, which I felt out of the contestant, there is no any other person other than me.
Chairman of the Gwagwalada Association of Retired LEA and Area Council Staff Pensioners, Mr. Baba Ahmed, expressed confidence that Comrade Ikwa's emergence will correct long-standing issues affecting retirees, citing his undeniable track record while in active service.
I listened to him very attentively, and I know he has a lot of plight for both teaching service, those in service, and the retirees. And I can see from his speech that he meant what he said. And I know with him, he'll be able to solve most of the outstanding problems that we have.
The FCT Area Council elections are scheduled for 21st of February 2026, and candidates are currently crisscrossing the 62 wards across the 6 area councils canvassing for support. Abdullahi Mukhtar, Aso Television News.
Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, has asked troops of Operation Hadenkai to remain alert and maintain an aggressive posture in ongoing operations against terrorists in the northeast. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Media Information Officer JTP Operation Hadenkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, on Thursday. Colonel Shaibu issued the charge during an operational assessment visit to the headquarters of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadenkai in Maiduguri, Borno State. The visit was aimed at assessing the security situation, evaluating operational effectiveness, and strengthening collaboration with security stakeholders. The QAS told personnel that their resilience was recognized, stressing the need for them to remain alert. He also addressed theater commanders on improving coordination and intelligence. During the visit, the theater commander Major General Abdul Salam Abubakar briefed the Army Chief on ongoing activities and challenges. Governor Babagana Zulum also congratulated the Army Chief and described his appointment as the 25th Chief of Army Staff as well deserved. The Governor expressed confidence in the Army's operations and urged troops not to be discouraged by isolated incidents. Now in business, a sum of 2.094 trillion naira was shared as monthly Federation account revenue allocation for October 2025 to the federal government, state and local government councils. A press release by a Director of Press to the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Bawa Mukwa, affirmed that the revenue was shared at the November 2025 Federation Account Allocation Committee FACT meeting held in Abuja. A communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee indicated that total gross revenue of 2.9 trillion naira was available in the month of October 2025. Total deduction for cost of collection was 115 billion naira, while total transfers, interventions, refunds and savings was 724 billion. The communique further showed that the gross statutory revenue of 2.1 trillion naira received for the month of October 2025 was higher than the sum of 2.1128 trillion naira received in the month of September 2025 by 36.8 billion naira. It stated that from the 2.094 trillion naira total distributable revenue, the federal government received 758.4 billion naira, the states received 689.1 billion naira, the local government councils received 505.8 billion naira, while a sum of 141.3 billion naira was shared to the benefiting states as 13% derivation revenue. According to the statement, petroleum profit tax, hydrocarbon tax and company income tax on upstream activities, companies income tax, oil and gas royalty, import duty, excise duty and levies increased significantly, while value-added tax, electronic money transfer levy and fees recorded decreases. Still on business, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has announced that the activities of an entity operating under the name Zuldal Microfinance Bank Limited, which reportedly has branches in Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna and Kano, is illegal and has not been licensed by the CBN to carry out microfinance banking in Nigeria. The CBN, in a press statement signed by its Acting Director of Corporate Communications Department, Mrs. Hakama Sidari, explained that Zuldal Microfinance Bank Limited is not a licensed microfinance bank and has no authorization from the CBN to operate or carry out any form of banking or otherwise microfinance business in Nigeria. The statement disclosed that for the avoidance of doubt, Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, BOFIA 2020, stipulates that no person shall carry on any banking business in Nigeria except it is company duly incorporated in Nigeria and holds a valid banking license issued by the CBN. While assuring that the CBN remains committed to safeguarding the financial system and protecting members of the public from unlicensed and fraudulent institutions, it indicates that a list of all licensed financial institutions in Nigeria is available on the CBN website. It further urges the general public to disregard any claims of licensing or approval by Zuldal Microfinance Bank and to refrain from engaging in any financial transactions with the said entity, as such dealings are undertaken at the individual's own risk. And that's Aso Briefing for the day. Many thanks for watching. I am Haris Raju. Have a great day, Abuja.